let me give you the meaning of the title. So the Colored Port Saga comes from an experience I had where I was driving down Texas Street and there was an elderly white man next to me in traffic. He had to be in his 80s, if not 90s. And we were just talking through the window. And before he pulled off, he said, you know, you're really nice for a colored girl. And I said, oh. I had never been called a colored girl. I thought that term was gone. So for him to have said this to me 10 years ago maybe, I was blown away. And that experience has stuck with me. And I question, what does it mean to be colored anyway? What does that mean? What is the colored experience in this country? And how have we, as Black people, been able to transcend all of those negative things, to create some things that are so profound, so incredible? Everything that you see here, I'm indebted to my ancestors for this. This is just my interpretation of what my grandparents and their grandparents and their grandparents created for us to inherit. I cannot take credit for any of this because this was established before I got here. I'm so thankful that I have the family that I have. My mom, I don't know where she went. She's standing somewhere short behind tall people. My mom, my dad's right here. That's his sermonic robe. Those are his waiters. My dad is a pastor. So this is in my blood. And I'm so thankful that God's entrusted me with this ability to translate this story to you. So the saga, it's an ever-growing, ever-evolving body of work. We're starting in the church, though, because the church was the first place Black people could have any type of autonomy, any type of authority. They could gain any type of respect. Today, we honor two ancestors in particular. Today is my great-grandfather, Overly Ashley's birthday, so we honor him. And I'm going to go light a candle for him in a little bit. And it's also Nat Turner's birthday. And if you don't know who Nat Turner was, that was a bad man, baby. He was able to do what he did because he was a minister. He was literate because he was a minister. In a time where Black people could be killed for even attempting to read, the only way that you could be literate is if you carried the word of God. And by him being literate, he was able to flip to Exodus and say, now wait a minute. Now, if this whole book is devoted to God delivering people out of bondage, why am I in bondage? And what sticks out to me so much about that is the fact that literacy is what stood in between freedom and bondage. Literacy, the ability to read, the ability to understand beyond what people tell you. What we see in our country is people relying on others to relay information to them. And that's how we end up in situations where people are confused because we're not reading for ourselves. We're not studying. We're not diving. We're not searching. We're just receiving. We're just taking whatever you give us.
You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. It's so amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. It's so amazing. You heal the sick.
Taking whatever you give us. So if you tell me I'm three-fifths of a human, I guess I am. If you tell me that I'm property, I guess I am. If you tell me that I cannot read, I cannot become the president, I guess I can't. And it takes us doing things to prove those doubts wrong. Melvin and I went to Alaska. It's so weird to even say it in past tense. We went to Alaska in July for my birthday. I turned 32 degrees in Alaska. That's what it was. But we went to Alaska, and I went for my ancestors. I went for my grandmother. My grandmother passed away when I was 6. And even though I didn't get a lot of time with her, she left the most indelible mark on my life. I have never gone a day without missing her. I've never gone a day without thinking about her. I've never gone a day without feeling like her being gone was a terrible loss for me. But her being gone is what's pushed me to take authority and to be what she was to me. She was my peace. And I had to find peace in myself without her. And of course I was 6, I didn't understand it then. But now that I'm older, she was my place of peace. And her passing away opened the door for me to be able to find that within me. And it took me a long time. It took me until now. But my grandmother and her parents, I come from a family of people who worked every day of their lives. My grandmother died with an unfinished project on her sewing machine. She was, at the time that she passed away, she was sewing an entire wedding party's dresses. She was profound. She passed away from congestive heart failure. My grandmother was sewing an entire wedding party's dresses with half a functioning heart. That's how hard these people worked. My great-grandfather, her father, her mother worked until they died. I didn't realize that I didn't have to do that until we went to Alaska. I didn't know. I had so much anxiety about that trip because I don't come from people who took vacations. I don't come from people who take time out to see things that are completely different from their norm. I don't come from that. I didn't know that I could even partake in that. I didn't know. I did not know. Mel will tell you, the night we checked in, I boo-hooed for an hour. And I just kept saying, I didn't know. Because I didn't know. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know. I thought that I was stuck in the narrative that I inherited. That's what I thought. I thought that I was stuck in things, some things are just dreams, and that's all they're going to be is dreams. Some things are just thoughts that you write down in your diary, but they don't actually happen. I didn't realize it could happen. I didn't realize this could happen. So the fact that I'm able to have this and to have you here, to see you interpreting work, I'm letting this baby go and be what it is. I've always been reluctant to share things because I like to control what people think. Most of you know me as a thank you, because you know I'm a Cancer child, I'm a craft. But most of y'all know I'm a spoken word artist primarily. And when I'm a spoken word artist, I can look at you in your eyes and I can say it with the inflection I want you to take it with. I can put the emphasis, and I can make it angry, or I can make it sweet. I can make you feel what I want you to feel, but I can't do that with this. You're going to read this, you're going to look at these pictures, and you're going to think what you think. And that's terrifying, but it's liberating because I don't know where else you can take this.